Shabbat Shalom, family. It's been quite some time since I've done a video, so I'm so glad to be able to share this study with you. We are in the beautiful mountains of Virginia. As you can hear, just the birds are chirping and singing today. Today's study is going to be on the palm tree. And the word in Hebrew that is used is the word Tamar, which is Strong's 8558. And we're going to begin in Shemoth, Exodus, chapter 15, verse 20 through 27. This comes right after the Song of Moses, of Moshe, when Miriam had led the women in songs of praise to celebrate the crossing of the Red Sea. And Miriam, okay, and her name means bitterness. Okay. Miriam, the Nebiah, the prophetess, the sister of Aharon, took the timbrel in her hand. And all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, "Sing to Yahuwah, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea." And Moshe brought Yasharel from the Sea of Reeds. Yasharel, Yisrael, however you would pronounce it, is Israel. From the Sea of Reeds. And they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And they came to Marah, means bitter. And they were unable to drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. So the name of it was called Marah. And the people grumbled against Moshe, saying, "What are we to drink?" Then he cried out to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah showed him a tree. And when he threw it into the waters were made sweet. So we see a tree, water, something that has never been tasted. There he made a law and a right ruling for them. And there he tried them, and he said, "If you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim and do what is right in his eyes, and shall listen to his commands, and shall guard all his laws, I shall bring on you none of the diseases I brought on the Mizrites," okay, or the Egyptians. "For I am Yahuwah your who heals you." And they came to Elam, which means palms, where there were 12 fountains of water, like the 12 tribes of Israel, and 70 palm trees. The word Tamar for palm. Also, we think about 70 nations. And they camped there by the waters. Wayikra, Leviticus 23. This is the appointed times of Yahuwah besides the Shabbat. Verse 39 through 44. "And on the 15th day of the 7th month, when you gather in the fruit of the land, celebrate the festival of Yahuwah for 7 days. On the first day is a rest, and on the 8th day a rest. And you shall take for yourselves on the first day of the fruit of good trees, branches of palm trees, Tamar, twigs of leafy trees, and willows of the stream, and shall rejoice before Yahuwah your Elohim for 7 days. And you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahuwah for 7 days in the year, a law forever in your generations." Celebrate it in the 7th month. Dwell in booths for 7 days. We also can reference Yeshayahu, Isaiah 4, verse 1 through 6 for that. "All who are native Israelites dwell in booths, so that your generations know that I made the children of Yasharel dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim. I am Yahuwah your Elohim." Thus did Moshe speak of the appointed times of Yahuwah to the children of Israel. Midbar, Numbers, chapter 33, verse 5 through 11. "Then the children of Yasharel departed from Ramses," which in Egyptian means child of the sun, "and camped at Succoth," okay, a tent or booth. "And they departed from Succoth and camped at Etham," their plowshare, which was on the edge of the wilderness. "And they departed from Etham and turned back to Pi Ha-Keroth," which means house or mouth of the caverns or gorges, which is before Baal Siphon, okay, an evil demon of the Egyptians, lord of the darkness, the destroyer. "And they camped near Migdol, a tower. And they departed from Ha-Keroth and passed over through the midst of the sea into the wilderness. They went 3 days' journey in the wilderness of Ephraim, and camped at Marah. Okay, bitter. It's a bitter fountain in the peninsula of Sinai. And they departed from Marah and came to Elam, okay, the palm trees of the grove. And at Elam were 12 springs of water and 70 palm Tamar trees. So they camped there. And they departed from Elam and camped, right, they pitched their tents by the Sea of Reeds. Devarim, Deuteronomy 34. This is the last writing of this of Deuteronomy. Verse 1 through 5. And Moshe went up from the desert plains of Moab, okay, of his father, to Mount Nebo, which is prophecy, to the top of Pisgah, which means a cleft. Okay, we think of a fragment, cut up or divide, which is opposite of Jericho, right? A fragrant place that's very fertile. And Yahuwah showed him all the land of Gilad. Gilad also is a stony region, or the son of Machir, as far as Dan, he who judges, and all Naphtali, my wrestling or my struggle, and the land of Ephraim, double fruitfulness, and Manasseh, one who forgets, and all the land of Yehudah, okay, celebrate, praise, revere, as far as the western sea, okay, Acharon, hinder, ladder, okay, ladder, and the Negeb, the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, as far as Seor, little or small. And Yahuwah said to him, this is the land of which I swore to Abraham, the father of a great multitude, when he talked to him in Bereshith, Genesis chapter 12, verse 7. To Yitzchak, laughter, and to Yaakov, the hill holder or supplanter, saying, to your seed I give it. I have let you look at it with your eyes, but you do not pass over there. And Moshe, the servant of Yahuwah, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of Yahuwah. Verse 6 through 7. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, opposite of Beth Peor, which is house of the cleft or gap. And no one knows his burial place to this day. And Moshe was 120 years old when he died. His eyes were not dim, nor his freshness gone. And then you could read Yahusha or Joshua, chapter 1, verses 1 through 2. In Shophatim, Judges 1, 13 through 16. And Othniel, okay, the force of El, son of Kenaz, a hunter. Caleb, which could mean a dog, forcible, crow, or a basket. Caleb's younger brother captured it, and he gave him his daughter Aksah, which her name means anklet or tinkling ornament, as a wife. And it came to be when she came in that she urged him to ask her father for a field. And when she got off from her donkey, Caleb said to her, what is the matter? And she said to him, give me a barakah, or give me a blessing, since you have given me also springs of water. So Caleb gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. And the children of the Kenite, okay, of Cain, or possession, father-in-law of Moshe, went up from Ir ha-Tamarim, okay, the city of palms, with the children of Yehudah into the wilderness of Yehudah, which is in the south of Arad, a fugitive. And they went and dwelt among the people. Judges chapter 3, verse 10 through 14. And the Ruach, okay, that set-apart spirit of Yahuwah came upon him, on Othniel. And he ruled Israel, and went out to battle. And Yahuwah gave into his hand Cushan Rish Athayim. May not be pronouncing that exactly right. That means darkness of double wickedness. Sovereign of Aram, Naharaim, the highland of two rivers. And his hand prevailed over Cushan Rish Athayim, and the land had rest for 40 years. Then Othniel, son of Kenaz, died, and the children of Israel again did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah made Eglon, calf-like, sovereign of Moab, strong against Israel, because they had done evil in the eyes of Yahuwah. So sometimes we just never learn how just stiff-necked and hard-hearted people. And he gathered to himself the children of Ammon, the people or tribe, and Amalek, the valley dweller, and went and smote Israel. And they took possession of Tamarim, the city of palms. And the children of Israel served Eglon, sovereign of Moab, 18 years. Sorry, it's getting really bright out here. Joel, chapter 1, verse 6 through 12. For a nation has come up against my land, strong and innumerable. Its teeth are the teeth of a lion, and it has the fangs of a lioness. In reference Revelation 9:8. It has laid waste my vine and splintered my fig tree. It has made it entirely bare and cast it away. Its branches became white. Well, like a maiden girded with sackcloth for the husband of her youth. The grain offering and the drink offering have been cut off from the house of Yahuwah. The Kohanim, or the high priest, servants of Yahuwah have mourned. The field is ravaged, the ground has mourned. For the grain is ruined, the new wine is dried up, the oil fails. The farmers are ashamed, the vine dressers wail over the wheat and over the barley. For the harvest of the field is destroyed. The vine has dried up, and the fig tree droops, pomegranate, also palm, Tamar, and apple tree. All the trees of the field are dried up, because joy has dried up among the sons of men. Gird yourselves and lament, you Kohanim. Wail, you attendants of the altar. Come, lie all night in sackcloth, you attendants of my Elohim. For the grain offering and the drink offering are withheld from the house of your Elohim. Kadosh, fast. Call an assembly. Gather the elders, all the inhabitants of the land, into the house of Yahuwah your Elohim, and cry out to Yahuwah. Alas for the day of Yahuwah is near, and it comes as destruction from El Shaddai. Is not the food cut off before our eyes, joy and gladness from the house of your Elohim? Tehillim, Psalm 92, verse 9 through 13. A song for the Shabbat day, the seventh day, the day of rest. For look, your enemies, O Yahuwah, for look, your enemies do perish, all the workers of wickedness are scattered. But you lift up my horn like a wild ox, and I have been anointed with fresh oil, and my eye looks upon my enemies. My ears hear the evildoers who rise against me. The righteous one flourishes like a palm, Tamar, tree. He grows like a cedar in Lebanon. Those who are planted in the house of Yahuwah flourish in the courts of our Elohim. Can reference Hoshea 14:5-6, and Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 17:7-8. In Shir Hasharim, Song of Songs, chapter 7, where it's speaking of the daughter of a noble, verse 4-8, your neck is like an ivory tower, your eyes, pools in Heshbon, reasoning. By the gate of Bath Rabbim, daughters of multitudes, your nose is like the tower of Lebanon, whiteness, looking to Damascus, silent sackcloth weaver. Your head upon you is like Mount Carmel, the garden land, and the hair of your head like purple. The sovereign is held captive by the ringlets. How lovely and how pleasant you are, O love and delights. The stature of yours compares to a palm tree, Tamar, palm tree, and your breasts to clusters, like fruit. I said, let me go up to the palm tree, let me take hold of its tips, and please let your breasts be like clusters of the vine, and the fragrance of your breath like apples. So that's the bride, right? The bride with the fruits. So in Nehemiah, which is Nehemiah 8, verse 9-18, this is where they read the book of the Torah the first day of the 7th month. And Nehemiah, who was the governor, and Ezra, the Kohen, or the high priest, or the scribe, and the Levites, who taught the people, said to all the people, this day is Kodesh to Yahuwah, but it's set apart, it's consecrated to Yahuwah, your Elohim. Do not mourn or weep, for all the people wept when they heard the words of the Torah. Then he said to them, go, eat the fatness, drink the sweet, and send portions to those for whom none is prepared. To go out and give people hope. Tell them that good news. For this day is Kodesh to our dawn. Right? Do good. Do not be sad, for the joy of Yahuwah is your strength. And the Levites were silencing all the people, saying, hush, for the day is Kodesh. Do not be sad. And all the people went to eat and to drink and to send portions and make a great rejoicing, because they understood the words that were made known to them. And on the second day, the heads of the fathers of all the people, with the Kohanim and the Levites, were gathered to Ezra the scribe in order to study the words of the Torah. And they found written in the Torah which Yahuwah had commanded by Moshe, that the children of Yasharel, should dwell in booths in the festival of the 7th month, and that they should announce and proclaim in all their cities and in Yerushalayim, which is the teaching of peace, saying, go out to the mountain and bring olive branches, branches of oil trees, and myrtle branches, and palm branches, and branches of leafy trees, to make booths, as it is written. So the people went out and brought them, and made themselves booths, each one on the roof of his house, and in their courtyards, and in the courtyards of the house of Elohim, and in the open space of the water gate, and in the open space of the gate of Ephraim, fruitfulness. And the entire assembly of those who had come back from the captivity made booths, and sat under the booths. For since the days of Yeshua, son of Nun, which his name, I believe it was changed from Yahusha to Yeshua at Babel, or after the Babylonian captivity. And until that day, the children of Yasharel had not done so. And there was a very great rejoicing. And day by day, from the first day until the last day, he read from the book of the Torah of Elohim, and they performed the festival 7 days. And on the 8th day, there was an assembly according to the right ruling. So these feast days are like a, should I say, I don't know if the right word is practice, but like a rehearsal of what is to come. Like all of these feasts are rehearsing for what is to come. And last year was my husband and I and our family's first year celebrating building a booth and coming to that understanding. And it was a fun time. It was a lot of fun building this booth and just resting in him, you know. It's just a beautiful thing. 2 Chronicles chapter 28. This is when Achaz, son of David, reigned and didn't do right in the eyes of Yahuwah. Verse 12 through 17. And some of the heads of the children of Ephraim, Azariahu, which means helped by Yahuwah, son of Yehochanan, which Yahuwah has favored, Barik Yahuwah, blessing of Yahuwah, son of Mesh Muth, which means recompense, and Yechezkiyahu, strength of Yahuwah, son of Shalom, retribution or recompense, and Amasa, burden, son of Hagdlai, rest, stood up against those who came from the army, said to them, do not bring the captives here to bring on us guilt before Yahuwah. Are you planning to add to our sins and to our guilt? For our guilt is great, and burning is the wrath on Israel. And the armed men left the captives and the spoil before the leaders and all the assembly. And the men who were designated by name rose up and took the captives, and from the spoil they clothed all the naked among them, dressed them, and gave them sandals, and gave them food and drink, and anointed them, and let all the weak ones ride on donkeys, and brought them to their brothers at Jericho, the city of palm trees, Tamar. And they returned to Shomeron, guarded. At that time, sovereign Achaz sent to the sovereigns of Asher, gladness, to help him, for the Edomites had come again and smote Yehudah and took away captives. So an akin word to is Tamar, like Tamar, which is Strong's 8560, and it's spelt the same way. It means a palm tree or a column. In Shophatim, Judges 4, verse 4 through 5, and Deborah, a bee, a Nebiah, prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, lamps or torches, was judging Yasharel at that time, and she was dwelling under the palm tree of Deborah, between Ramah, which is a high place, and Beth El, the house of El, in the mountains of Ephraim, of fruitfulness or double fruit. And the children of Yasharel, Yisrael, came up to her for right ruling. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 10, 1 through 5. Hear the word which Yahuwah speaks to you, O house of Yasharel. Thus said Yahuwah, do not learn the way of the Gentiles, okay, the heathen, the goyim, and do not be frightened by the sons of the Shamayim, of the heavens, for the Gentiles are frightened by them. For the prescribed customs of these peoples are worthless. For one cuts a tree from the forest, work for the hands of a craftsman with a cutting tool. They adorn it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers, so that it does not topple. They are like a rounded post, and they do not speak. Okay, rounded post, the word Tamar. And the word for hammers is Maccabah. We're going to get to that in just a few minutes. Maccabah, like Yehuda Maccabah. Or you may have heard the Maccabean revolt, Judas Maccabeus. Okay. Tehillim, Psalm 115, 1 through 8. I wasn't ready. Not to us, O Yahuwah, not to us, but to your name give esteem, for your kindness, for your truth. Why should the Gentiles say, where now is their Elohim? But our Elohim is in the Shamayim. Whatever pleased him he has done. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they do not speak. They have eyes, but they do not see. They have ears, but they do not hear. They have noses, but they do not smell. They have hands, but they do not handle. They have feet, but they do not walk. They make no sound through their throat. The one who makes them shall become like them, all who trust in them. They have to be carried because they do not walk, right? Do not be afraid of them, for they do no evil, nor is it in them to do any good. There is another akin word, which is Strong's 856, Timmorah, and that is Tav Mem Resh Hay. So it's spelt with a hay on the end of it this time, which means palm-like, artificial, like an ornament. And the times that this word is mentioned is in the building that Solomon built, making images of the cherubim and the palm trees, etc. In 1 Kings 6, 29 through 35, 7:36, 2 Chronicles 35, or 3:5, sorry. Ezekiel 40, 16 through 37, 41, 18 through 26, Isaiah 56, 7, and Jeremiah 7, 11, where it's all talking about like the den of robbers, okay? Does Yahuwah dwell in houses built by men? In Greek, the word for palm is Strong's 5404, Phoinix, or Phoinix. Yochanan, John, chapter 12, verse 12 through 13. 6 days before Pesach, Passover. On the next day, a great crowd who had come to the festival when they heard that Yahusha, okay, our Messiah, it's like Yahuwah, save us, please save us, was coming to Jerusalem, okay, to that teaching of peace. He took the branches of palm trees, Phoinix, and went out to meet him. And were crying out, Hoshea, okay, save now, save us now. Hoshea, Baruch is he who is coming in the name of Yahuwah, the sovereign of Yasharel. Okay, we're going to reference that from Psalm 118, 25 through 26. I pray, O Yahuwah, please save. I pray, O Yahuwah, please send prosperity. Baruch, okay, blessed is he who is coming in the name of Yahuwah. Matthityahu 21, 8 through 9, where it was talking about the donkey and the colt. And most of the crowd spread their garments on the way, while others cut down branches from the trees and spread them on the way. And the crowds who went before and those who followed cried out, saying, Hoshea, the ben of David, Baruch is he who is coming in the name of Yahuwah, Hoshea, in the highest. Mark 11, 8 through 10. And many spread their garments on the way, and others were cutting down branches from the trees and were spreading them on the way. And those going before and those following cried out, saying, Hoshea, Baruch is he who is coming in the name of Yahuwah. Baruch is the coming reign of our father David in the name of Yahuwah. Hoshea, in the highest. Devarim, Deuteronomy 18, verse 18 through 19. It's where Yahuwah had said to Moshe, I shall raise up for them a Nabi, like you, out of the midst of their brothers. And I shall put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And it shall be, the man who does not listen to my words, which he speaks in my name, I require it of him. So, Baruch, Haba, Bashem, Yahuwah. This word is also used in Acts 27:12. I'm not going to read that one. Revelation, Chazon, chapter 7. I think this is verse 9. This is when the 144,000 are sealed out of the children of Yasharel. After this I looked and saw a great crowd, which no one was able to count, out of all the nations and tribes and peoples and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, dressed in white robes and palm branches in their hands. Okay, let's think about the seventh day that we read in John. Palm branches in their hands, and crying out with a loud voice, saying, "Deliverance belongs to our Elohim who sits on the throne and to the Lamb." Romans 11:25 through 27. For I do not want you to be ignorant of this secret, brothers, lest you should be wise in your own estimation, that hardening in part has come over Israel, until the completeness of the Gentiles has come in. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it has been written, "The deliverer shall come out of Zion, and he shall turn away wickedness from Yaakov. And this is my covenant with them, when I take away their sins." So, another thing that I am going to share with you is, as I was doing the study, I remember Tamar, the daughter-in-law of Yehuda. So I wanted to go back and look because her name is spelled the same way. So I'm going to read the scripture that her name is mentioned in. Bereshith, Genesis 38. Okay, this is verse 6, 11, 13, and 24. And Tamar is Strong's 8559. And Yehuda took a wife for his firstborn. Means awake. And her name was Tamar. Then Yehuda said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, "Remain a widow in your father's house until my son Shelah," okay, request, "is grown." For he said, lest he also die as his brothers did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. And it was reported to Tamar, saying, "See, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah," okay, a portion or restraint, "to shear his sheep." And it came to be about 3 months after that Yehuda was informed, saying, "Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has whored, and see, she has conceived by whoring." And Yehuda said, "Bring her out and let her be burned." In verse 25, when she was brought out, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, "By the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant." And she said, "Please examine who these are: the seal, and the cord, and the staff." So let's think about that. The seal, the cord, and the staff. Okay. There were twins in her womb, and the scarlet thread was around the first hand on Zerach. Okay. He drew his hand back. So Peretz broke through first. Peretz, this breach be upon you. And after this, it goes directly into the account of Yosef and Mitzrayim. The next passage that it's mentioned in is Ruth 4:12. "And let your house be like the house of Peretz, whom Tamar bore to Yehuda, of the seed which Yahuwah gives you from this young woman." Verse 18 through 22. And this is the genealogy of Peretz. Peretz brought forth Hetzron, and Hetzron, which means surrounded, brought forth Ram, high or exalted. And Ram brought forth Amminadab, my people of generosity. And Amminadab brought forth Nahshon, observer or diviner. And Nahshon brought forth Salmon, clothed. And Salmon brought forth Boaz, fleetness. And Boaz brought forth Obed, servant. And Obed brought forth Yeshah, the gift, or one who is. And Yeshah brought forth Deut, my beloved, or dear. 2 Samuel 13, 1 through 2, and let's see, 4 through 8, verse 10, 19, 20, 22, and 32. And after this it came to be that Absalom, the father of peace, son of Deut, had a lovely sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, trustworthy, son of Deut, loved her. And Amnon was distressed even to become sick because of his sister Tamar, for she was a maiden. And it was hard in the eyes of Amnon to do whatever to her. But his friend Yonadab, which means a cunning man, or Yahuwah is willing. And he said to him, Why are you, the sovereign son, becoming thinner day after day? Explain it to me. And Amnon said to him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. And Jonadab said to him, lie down on your bed and pretend to be sick. And when your father comes to see you, say to him, please let my sister Tamar come and give me food and make the food before my eyes so that I see it and I eat it from her hand. And Amnon lay down and pretended to be sick. And when the sovereign came to see him, Amnon said to the sovereign, please let Tamar, my sister, come and make a couple of cakes for me before my eyes, so that I eat it from her hand. And David sent to Tamar to the house, saying, please go to the house of your brother Amnon and make cakes before his eyes and bake the cakes. Now he refused to eat, and Amnon said to Tamar, bring the food into the bedroom that I eat it from your hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made and brought them to Amnon, her brother, in the bedroom, right? That the place of rest and in the bedroom. Then her innocence was taken. He bolted the door behind her. Tamar put ashes on her head and tore her long coat that was on her and put her hand on her head and went away crying bitterly. And Absalom, her brother, said to her, has Amnon your brother been with you? But now, keep silent, my sister. He is your brother. Do not take this matter to heart. So Tamar remained in this house of her brother Absalom, but was ruined. The next word that I'm going to go to, or the next passage, is in the Maccabees. 2nd Maccabees. Remember when I mentioned a little bit ago how the hammer also was the word Maccabee, or Maccabah? So, Yehuda Maccabah. 2nd Maccabees, chapter 10, verse 1 through 7. Now with Yahuwah guiding them, Maccabah and his army recovered the Hekal in the city. Now, Maccabah can mean it can mean a hammer as piercing or a strenuous warrior. It comes from the word nakab, which means to puncture, blaspheme, appoint, bore. It's like a hollowing out, separate, or distinguish. Okay. And they pulled down the altars and also the chapels which the Gentiles had built in the open street. Now, what does that sound like? Let's think about that for a minute. And having cleansed the Hekal, they made another altar. And striking flints, they made fire out of it, and offered a slaughtering after 2 years, and offered incense and lamps and showbread. When that was done, they bowed down and pleaded to Yahuwah that they would no longer come upon such troubles. But if they sinned any more against him, that he himself would discipline them with kindness, and that they would not be delivered over to the blasphemous and foreign nations. And on the same day that the foreigners profaned the Hekal, on that very same day it was cleansed again, even the 25th day of the same month, which is Keslu. And they observed the 8 days with gladness, as in the feast of Succoth. And when they wandered in the mountains and caves like beasts, therefore they carried branches and leafy twigs, and also palms, and sang psalms to he that had given them good success in cleansing his place. Chapter 14, verse 1 through 4. After 3 years, Yehuda was informed that Demetrios, belonging to Demeter, the son of Seleucus, having entered by the harbor of Tripolis with a fleet of great strength, had taken the country and killed Antichos and Lucius, the releaser, the guardian. Now a certain Eliakim, which means El-Razes, who had been Kohen Haggadol, and had deliberately defiled himself in the times of their mixing with the Gentiles, seeing he could not save himself by any means, right? Can't save ourselves, nor have any more access to the Kodesh altar, came to sovereign Demetrios in the 151st year, 151, presenting a crown of gold to him and a palm, and also the branches which were used on festivals in the Hekal. But that day he remained silent. Isaiah 54. Almost done. Thank you for your patience. Sing, O barren one, you who did not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud. You have not been in labor, for the children of the deserted one are more than the children of the married woman, said Yahuwah. Enlarge the place of your tent, and let them stretch out the curtains of your dwelling. Spare not, lengthen your cords, and strengthen your stakes. For you shall break forth to the right and to the left, and your seed inherit the nations, and make the deserted cities inhabited. Do not fear, for you shall not be put to shame, nor hurt. You shall not be humiliated. For the shame of your youth you shall forget, and not remember the reproach of your widowhood anymore. For your Maker is your husband. Yahuwah Sabaoth is his name, and the Kodesh one, set apart one, consecrated one of Israel is your Redeemer. He is called the Elohim of all the earth. For Yahuwah has called you like a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, like a wife of youth, when you were refused, declares Yahuwah your Elohim, or declares your Elohim. For a little while I have forsaken you, but with great compassion I shall gather you. In an overflow of wrath I hid my face from you for a moment, but with everlasting kindness I shall have compassion on you, said Yahuwah your Redeemer. Now you can go on and read the rest of that. But to keep this video from being too long, so a few benefits and uses of palm trees. Now behind me, I chose to set here, this is a rescue majesty palm from Lowe's. Palm trees don't grow that great in Virginia, but I rescued this and planted it, and it's not doing too good right now, but hopefully it'll do a little bit better. Palm oil is used from all the way from pizza dough to washing detergent, body lotion, soap. It's a base for mixing cough syrups. It has high vitamin A, lowering cholesterol, reducing the likelihood of illnesses such as heart disease and cancer. Palm is used as a building material for house walls, rafters, and roofing, logs for bridges. The fiber can also be woven to make carpet, wall coverings, brooms, baskets, furniture, charcoal, cups, bottles. Wax used for scented candles is made out of this. Palm leaves, or fronds, have a diverse range of uses. Roof thatch, garden fencing, weaving, fuel, nutritional feed for livestock, and mulch. There are many varieties of palm trees that produce different fruits. Dates, coconuts, peaches, acaberry, or ashberry. Behind me again, okay, is the majesty palm. This particular kind, if you keep it indoors, is an air purifier, and they can remove formaldehyde, benzene, and carbon monoxide from the air. Well, I thank you for taking the time to join me today for the study on Tamar and the palm tree, and I hope that in your spirit you receive this. I will include the scripture in the description box below this video so that you can go back and read it for yourself if it's something that you're interested in. And may you enjoy the rest of this day. Shalom, shalom.
Bereshith, Genesis 49, 1-2. And Yaakov called his sons and said, Gather together, so that I declare to you what is to befall you in the last days. Gather together and hear, you sons of Yaakov, and listen to Israel, your father. Verse 8. You, Yehuda, your brothers, praise you. Your hand is on the neck of your enemies. Your father's children bow down before you. Yehuda is a lion's cub. From the prey you have gone up, my son. He bowed down, he crouched like a lion, and like a lion who rouses him. The scepter shall not turn aside from Yehuda, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes. And to him is the obedience of the peoples, binding his donkey to the vine, and his donkey's colt to the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his robe in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine, and his teeth whiter than milk.